Well, hey everybody, this is Buddy. I was going to go to the meeting, had everything scheduled and planned, and then my dadgum dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculus got in the way of being able to manage time. I've never been able to really wrap my head around getting myself from point A to point B and do it right. Right now, it's 9 minutes past 10. I'm going to give you the updates of what's happening at the meeting the best way I can. And you just have to bear with me as I make sure the mic is in the right place so I can talk and you can hear me. I'm a little upset about it, but this is going to take my mind off of it. Y'all listen to this comment.
This is what has polluted water systems throughout our country. It was going to start in Michigan back in 2000 and I rebelled against it and lost my job because of it, but I saved the land over 800 acres. We're going to be frake. You're one of the most pristine areas in Michigan. Silver Lake, the dunes, freshwater and lakes were going to be destroyed and they didn't know what tourism and farming gone.
All right, let's take this over to my AI agent. Hey, it's me, Buddy. I'm recording this as we speak. Help me answer this comment back in the affirmative and to keep the conversation going.
That is a powerful story from your viewer, Buddy. It sounds like they are a real hero for sacrificing their job to save 800 acres of pristine Michigan land. Since you want to respond in the affirmative and keep the conversation moving, here is a draft you can use. I've made it short and clear so it's easy to post. I hear you loud and clear, and I 100% agree. What you did in Michigan is incredible. Losing your job to save 800 acres and protect the water is a true act of a hero. We are seeing those same pollution patterns trying to start here in Marshfield. Since you've fought this battle before and won for the land, what is the number one thing you think we should be watching out for with these data center developers?
Well, that's a good one. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I'm going to go ahead and love his video with the heart. Give it a thumbs up. And we're going to answer it right here as we're doing it. Give him a smiley face and a thumbs up. Boom, that's one answered comment. Now let's look at this. It was reported just less than 15, 20 minutes ago before the meeting started. They put this post up from Ozarks First.
Marshfield, MO. A public meeting with the Webster County Commissioners will be held Monday, May 11th, to discuss a controversial new data center that is being planned in Marshfield. The commission states that due to the increase in expected attendance for this issue, the meeting will take place at 10 a.m. in the auditorium at Marshfield High School. Around 100 people were lined up outside the high school ahead of Monday's meeting before the doors opened. The project, located on Rifle Range Road near the power substation north of the city, has nearby residents expressing concerns over pollution to the environment, health, and wildlife safety. While Webster County does not have a planning and zoning commission, they hope to adopt an ordinance to slow the construction of the center and require more transparency around it and its impacts.
Now KY3 didn't have anything to add to it or take away from it. But this is a little news story from Ozarks First. Let's jump in here and hear what they're saying and do it with the intent not to copyright, but to voice over. And that's perfectly good. I'm telling you what the news is. All right, let's listen to it.
Webster County residents are expected to make their voices heard tomorrow. That's regarding a new data center being built. This comes as there's a growing pushback across the country for the construction of data centers next to residential areas. Ozarks First Michael McLaughlin is in studio with us tonight. Michael, this has become a very controversial issue in Marshfield.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Matt. So this center is already being built in the city, which people are hoping to slow its progress until they hear more about its potential impacts. The project, located on Rifle Range Road near the power substation north of the city, is currently under construction and making quick progress. Right now, the site is within 5 acres, but another 5 is being surveyed. Nearby residents argue there's been a lack of transparency surrounding the new center and have expressed concerns over pollution to the environment, health, and wildlife safety. While
Well, I'm going to jump in here and say this about the whole thing. The planning for the actual meeting at 10 o'clock on a Monday is strategically inhibited for older people and people with learning disabilities, and I didn't make it, and I'm not happy about it. But we're doing the best we can to stay positive. That's why I'm giving you this news information.
Webster County does not have a planning and zoning commission, neighbors hope to adopt an ordinance similar to the one recently issued in Camden County over a data center that was planned there. This would require the developers to provide water use disclosures, impact studies, and more without a planning and zoning framework. The county commission states that due to the increase in expected attendance for this issue specifically, the meeting will now be in the auditorium at Marshfield High School. And that meeting will start early in the morning at 10 a.m. Matt?
Well, that was recorded and it was put up on their site less than an hour ago. Now, he said some really interesting things. Now, this is, if I would have made it to the meeting and would have been able to talk, I would have brought into the fact that the Corps of Engineers out of the Little Rock district needs to be deeply involved, and I'm going to do my due diligence to get them deeply involved, because the aquifer is their, it's in their ball court. In other words, I've had conversations with the Little Rock district. I worked out of the Vicksburg district as a young man with the match sinking unit. So I got real familiar with how the Corps engineers handle things. And boy, I tell you what, they're very, very professional. And I'm going to get them involved in this aquifer up here with these data centers. And, but that's what I would have brought up at the meeting. And I would have had to speak, from the heart, because I can't prepare anything, notes or anything. I can't read. It just makes life a little difficult, but I turn it into helping people the best I can. Well, this is just an update. One comment got posted. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this so I can put this out on the internet. Thank y'all for watching my channel. I really appreciate y'all. Keep coming back to thebuddyhuggins.com and go to thebuddyhuggins.com and see my blog post.